What's up, guys? Our Wrestling Podcast back at you with another episode. This is Dave Vicious along with Jess, the Total Package, Craig, the British Bulldog, and Cuz is off this week, bringing you our perspective on the world of professional wrestling.
Fucking Christmas? Is it my birthday?
No inside sources, no ties to the industry, just stories from the diehards, sharing opinions with you. Can somebody feed me today's topic?
David, we are doing Greatest Prelims Part 2.
Jabbas, bro. Jabbas. We're doing some Jabbas today.
We had so much fun doing the first one, whether you call them prelims, enhancement talent, jobbers, whatever you want. These are the guys we love to talk about.
These are fun. They
are.
Yeah, I can't wait to get into this. For audio fans, give us a listen on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcast, or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel. On social media, give us a follow on Instagram or Twitter at O.W.P 2019, or catch us on Facebook at Our Wrestling Podcast. Craig, are you enhanced today?
I am enhanced. Yeah. Sometimes in life, we all feel like jobbers. These guys, we pay tribute to them for
yeah,
years.
We don't mean this to be mean at all. Like, these guys work just as much. Dave and I were talking offline, as they say. No, we were online, actually. Whatever. Before we record. Fuck you all. And then Dave was just like, God, this particular guy, I'm not going to give away one of his choices right now. He's like, God, you work like over 300 days a year. And I was like, like some of these enhancement talents or jobbers. I mean, I know we call them jobber back in the day, but that we've learned in this enlightened age that is a little offensive. They are enhancement talent. They are prelims even, but jobbers is kind of mean, even though the job squad was a thing.
Yeah.
It's an internet term, job. It's more of an internet term.
Because really, when you say you're going to do the job tonight, I mean, that's the lingo, right?
Yeah. That was like the lingo, yeah. And then it morphed into a bad thing, or people slandering somebody else.
I kind of look at it as a little bit of like, hey man, I'm a jobber. Like I did this work. It's kind of like, for me, feels like Dude, you should be honored for being a jobber.
I mean, ask Steve Lombardi if he's disappointed in his career.
I don't think so.
You know what I mean? Like,
no.
And he was on our last episode. He was on part 1, Steve Lombardi.
Yeah.
So we'll do the same thing. We're going to go round the table. And we've all chosen tres, and we'll go around the table and we'll choose one, and then round 2 and round 3, and we'll just talk about who wants to go first, huh?
I'll give it a go for you if you want.
Fuck. Okay.
All right. Well, your stuff is better, so you might as well get mine out of the way right now. So,
that's not true.
Stop that, Dave.
I'm sorry. We're gonna go with S.D. Jones. Conrad Ephraim, better known as Special Delivery Jones, is my jobber first pick. He has been all over the place. I think he actually started training under another jobber that we won't talk about. And he was wrestling as early as like 1970, late 1960s. Really kind of an interesting guy. And this is the one that Jess was talking about. So he helped put over Greg Valentine in a TV taping.
You guys see him? Is he up?
79. Yeah, he's up. Yeah, we see him.
Look at him.
So just to give you an idea, we talked about that workhorse. He wrestled 240 matches a year during his career, and twice he wrestled over 300 matches, 302 in 1978 and 305 in 1984. And it was being used as a preliminary talent, as we talked about, prelims in the 1980s. And he created looks like they actually created an action figure of Jones. And the wrestling superstar.
He did the old, I remember the old figures.
In the WWF,
he wore like Hawaiian shirts. He wore, I think, right?
But I want to say he had a T-shirt too in the WWF magazine. I could be wrong, but for some odd reason, I remember him having merchandise.
Merch wise for him. That'd be cool. I mean, he's got the body. Look at him. Like he looked good, and he was on the first WrestleMania.
Oh, and I totally forgot. I was asking.
He got squashed by Bundy.
He did get squashed by Bundy. That's right. And I forgot. I was asking Jess why he was in a picture with Tony Atlas and Batista. Now I've read it, and I found out why.
And I said that was private, and you shouldn't ask that question.
Whoa, watch it. And he retired in 1995, but in 2006 he actually inducted Tony Atlas into the WWE Hall of Fame. That's why he was there.
Very cool.
Yeah. So after retiring from wrestling, he lost a ton of weight and began working at the New York Times. It's funny, he was working at a telephone company, and then when he retired, he worked for a newspaper company.
Polished off the demon with?
Yeah, that's right, Mr. McMahon. That's my special now, the neck breaker. There's a lot of competition around here. I left here about a year and a half, close to a year and a half ago, and I got back now, and it's tougher than ever. Anyway, it doesn't surprise me because here is the #1 place for pro wrestling. The greatest athletes are right here. So I'm looking forward for some tough competition. This is nothing yet. There's more to come, heavier stuff. Very, very heavy artillery. But let me tell you something, baby. SD Special D is ready.
He actually suffered a stroke 2 days earlier of his death, and he died on October 26th of 2008.
Oh, I didn't know he passed.
Yeah.
Yikes. I think I knew that. I think I did.
Yeah. So, but really, really cool story. I mean, I can't believe how much work he actually put in.
Well, and especially
really,
back
really
in these days too, in like the early 80s, mid 80s and stuff, when there were still territories, like these guys actually would go to other territories and win like the WK9 championship out of, West Massachusetts or whatever, like, and they would win titles, but we just got used to them as enhancement talent on WCW or WWF television.
Well, to your point, Jess, he won 3 tag team titles in the NWA America Tag Team Championships with Pork Chop Cash. Defeated the Hollywood Blondes, not the ones you're thinking of, Buddy Roberts and Jerry Brown. And then they dropped him back, and then he teamed with Tom Jones to defeat Black Gorman and Goliath for those titles. And then they won the belts back. They lost them and then won them back for them in 1977, November 18th. So he's a 3-time America Tag Team Champion for the NWA.
And sometimes these enhancement guys, you would get like decent matches out of them on like Monday Night Prime Time or Tuesday Night Prime. What was the WWF? It started as Tuesday Night Titans, but it was What's the Gorilla and Bobby Heenan during the middle of the week, the studio show. Primetime Wrestling. And then you would actually get enhancement talents having a good 10-15 minute match with each other.
Yeah, it would be like Iron Mike Sharp and SD Jones, and they would be going at it for like 15 minutes at, the Spectrum or whatever, like just some house show. Like,
yeah.
That was always fun to see. These guys were trusted too. Enhancement talent back in the day were trusted to, SD Jones was a good hand, as they would call him, and so they would trust him.
He's not gonna hurt anybody.
Yeah, Kurt Hennig is coming into the company. We really want to get this Mr. Perfect gimmick over, so give him a good match, give him 15-20, and then like they would trust somebody like SD Jones to go out and do that. Yeah,
good pick, Dave.
Oh, so I'll go second if you don't mind. Let's get my second choice. My first choice here is Chris Duffy, who was a enhancement talent wrestler with the World Wrestling Federation from 1986 to 1997. He was on Raw. He was on the syndicated television back in the day. Yeah. So he really was like a long time. Unfortunately, he died when he was 35. I didn't know he passed away. Yeah, he was only 35 years old. He died of a heart attack, they suspect. What I read about him on August the 25th of 2000, unfortunately. So, but I remember Chris Duffy a lot. I remember him on the Raw days too and stuff. Like I remember tuning in and seeing him. He was in the ring with anybody that you can name at that point. Like he was one of those guys like SD, but in a later generation, later time period, that toured the horn, like it was kind of cool.
Jeez. Chris Duffy.
I can't get this thing out of my head. I don't know if you guys have seen the YouTube video or whatever of this kid yelling at a guy from the street, and the guy wants to kick his ass, and the kid keeps saying "F you, Duffy." That's all I can think about when you say Duffy. I don't know why. It's like, he just keeps yelling at him, and that might have been what Duffy looked like.
Oh wow! Look at Chris Duffy.
He looks so angry too, doesn't he?
Yeah, some people you may not recognize these names, but he.
But you might have seen it. You're like, oh yeah, I saw that guy when I was watching Raw. Look at that old Raw emblem too on the.
Yeah, it was like one of the original ones.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, it looks like he got a 1, 2, 3 kid outfit and cut off one singlet so he could fit into it.
I forget sometimes that Raw started with prelims like that. It wasn't always the Raw.
They would have like one superstar match a night usually on Raw. I think.
But my question is too, we would always laugh at a lot of their outfits. I wonder if it was a company directive, like you need to just look ridiculous because you're kind of just like you're the mark, if that makes sense. Not the mark as the wrestling term, but the mark is in like you're the guy that's going to get destroyed. So you just need to look silly so the star looks better. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
Or
there's so many prelims that look like that.
Good look.
There's no way that Chris Duffy, when he imagined being a pro wrestler, is like, that's the look I want to go with.
I wish we could ask him.
I want to like a Andre the Giant singlet top and like regular bottoms. Like nobody would say that. So I've always wondered that. I've always been like, man, I wonder if they were told to dress down.
To your point, it's like they had that seamstress. I can't remember her name that was there for 40 years in WWE.
Yeah.
And Vince would just go up to her, make him up something quick.
Not even make him up something. Just open up the chest of failed.
I was gonna say, open up the gimmick box.
Yeah. There's got to be a bag we have somewhere, our closet.
I bet it was his gear. I bet he thought he was the shit.
And maybe
that's part of his failure. It's like, this is my gimmick, and I think it's really going to resonate.
And Vince is like, okay, pal.
And he probably
even got the Hartford Whalers.
We want to push it to the next level, Chris, but you got to change the tights. You know what? I respect you, Vince, but I'm gonna have to stand my gun on this one. I'm keeping the Duffy. I'm keeping the Duffy look.
Do we have a? I forgot. Do we have a record on these guys?
I won't tell you how to book if you don't tell me how to look. Duster out.
You know what I'm saying? Anyway, it's like me and Hogan. We get it. Hogan and I get it. We're right.
There's going to be a lot more time for that rhyme in just a few minutes too. It's going to be fun.
Craig, what is your first dick-a-doo?
Mine is the Conquistadors, late 80s, early 90s heel jobber tag team that wore these straight gold kind of metallic suits. You could switch them out with whoever you want, but the original guys were Jose Estrada Sr. and Jose Luis Rivera. They were on a Survivor Series. They weren't always these jobbers, and it'll lead into a discussion probably a little bit later. Like, at what line are you a enhancement talent? After kind of either being pushed and
describe their Survivor Series, because this has to be their greatest moment, the Survivor Series. They what are they? They survived. No, they were the surviving heel team. They ended up losing. Yeah, they were. It was Survivor Series '88. They were on the tag team side of Demolition's team, and then the Power and Glory's team. Not Power and Glory. Yeah. Jesus, I'm sorry, Dave. Powers of Pain.
Powers of Pain. There you go.
Yes.
And and before you knew it, because that's when they did the double switch with Fuji, where Demolition dumped Fuji as their manager, and Powers of Pain picked Fuji up. So it was the original double switch before Brett and Sean, before Brett and Austin would do it years later. They did a double switch, turning Demolition face and Powers of Pain heel in the same swoop. But little did you know, in the background, you realize, like, oh, not all the teams are eliminated. Who's left for Powers of Pain? The Conquistadors. The final team on Demolition side, and they would actually lose. But that's and then also Edge and Christian brought them back.
Yeah,
would dress as them later in the Attitude Era.
And they would have competitive matches. They'd win occasionally against Young Stallions or whatever, Killer Bees, that like lower 3 card of teams. But by the end, they were just fodder for any tag teams that kind of came in for them. But I remember them. They were always on my Saturday morning.
That's fun.
Superstars.
Fun stuff.
The following tag team contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first in the ring area, weighing in with a total combined weight
this
of 458
should be an interesting matchup,
right? Hailing from somewhere
They'll probably
in
rip their
Latin
mask
America.
off and eat them.
Here are
I want you to know right up front, I'm
Conquistadors.
completely disgusted.
Stuff.
That's a great pick.
I love it. I love it. My next person actually
going to round 2, Dave. Round 2.
Yeah, round 2. This person actually trained SD Jones and a lot of others. We're going to talk about Johnny Rodz, born in 1938, and I believe it looks like he's still kicking. I'm looking for a time of death, and I don't think I see it. So good on you, bro. He is still going. He's probably over 80 years old.
Way to go!
Way to go, Johnny Rodz,
being alive,
man.
Bro.
Yeah, man.
We didn't still be alive, Johnny.
Yeah, good job, Johnny.
I was looking for it. I was like, "There's no way."
Do you see the picture here? He's whipping Iron Mike Sharp into the ropes. I don't know.
And Johnny Rod.
Johnny Rod.
Letting iron sharpens iron.
That's a great picture. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. It's 2 major preliminary people going at it. I love it. So he wrestled in the World Wrestling Federation. Or worldwide, because it was a combo from 65 to 85.
65 he started?
Wow. That was just in the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. Yeah. So,
jeez.
How old was he here? He looks good then.
He looks great. Yeah.
That's got to be close to 85, right?
This picture?
He debuted.
Now you're talking about now.
Here's the deal. He debuted in 64 and he retired in 99, guys. I'm just Just
wow.
saying. What? But here's the thing that's really, really interesting. Two things. One, he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in '96 by Arnold Scaland. That's pretty cool.
I did not know that.
He also trained these wrestlers. Check out some of these names: Vito LaGracio, Damian Demento, Tommy Dreamer, Big Dick Dudley, Bubba Ray Dudley, Devon Dudley, Bill DeMott, Elektra, Jason Knight, the Batiri, Vince Russo. That's a bummer. Matt Striker.
What did he train Vince Russo to do?
Big Cass, Angel Medina,
Like scam
Taz.
people for money?
He trained Taz, by the way. Ricky Vega, ST Jones, like we talked about, Marty Bell, and Kevin Matthews. Those are some of the people that he trained that are kind of like high profile. Pretty cool stuff. So,
good pick.
I know, man. I actually did some research.
Did your research, Dave?
Yeah, I did some stuff here. But yeah, so that's actually
you sack of shit.
I'm sorry about that. I thought I would be underprepared actually.
No.
So yeah, but that was my pick. I'm like, this guy's really interesting. He's done a lot of stuff, and he's wrestled for like 40 plus years. And he's a Hall of Fame inductee. Pretty neat.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go. If I may.
There you go.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're
gosh.
Fine. I got this. Go ahead. Go ahead,
This is a discussion of whether this guy was a jobber, because this guy launched with some pretty big fanfare, and this guy is held fondly in my memory because when I first started getting into wrestling, he was one of like the stars that I saw, and I want to say he was on an ice cream. He was on an ice cream bar.
He got vignettes played, so he was coming to the WWF, and so like when I first started watching wrestling, it was around this time too, and he was kind of the first new wrestler, if that makes any sense, when I started watching. So I remember this too because
I'm getting that vignette push.
Yeah. But even as young like fans or whatever, he was only, first of all, I'll say the name. I know you guys are excited. You guys are all guessing it out there and Radioland. Outback Jack. We're talking Outback Jack.
Woo!
Wrestled 1986 to 88, not long. But yeah, to Jess's point, he came with big fanfare. I want to say he was on Ice Cream Bar.
He was, and he was also in the WWF catalog. He had merchandise and everything.
Completely.
Just throwing out there, he's on an ice cream bar, and CM Punk had to pay for his own.
Right.
That's right.
That's right.
But by the end of his run, man, he was a jobber.
Did he have an Aussie accent too, Craig, or no?
What's that, Dave?
Did he have an Aussie accent too and all that?
Yes.
I think he did.
Yeah.
I didn't even know if he was.
His finishing move was the boomerang clothesline. It was fucking horrendous. He would clothesline him from the front and then wait for him to get up and then clothesline him again from the back. So the move took like 30 seconds because he had to wait for them to get up from selling the first line, and they would hit him, clothesline him in the back, and then pin him.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. Why?
He wasn't around long. It feels like he was around quite a while. He was not.
He was he was a total failed experiment.
It could have been. This could be another.
Yeah, and you're right though, because I don't think he even stuck around long enough to become enhancement talent. Because the whole phrase enhancement talent is to be around and enhance other wrestlers. I think they wanted him to be at least a mid-carder, a strong mid-carder, and it just didn't work out. And he just kind of faded away. I want to say he barely lasted like a year or two.
Yeah. 1988 was his May 1988 was his last Superstars.
Oh my god, so like a year then.
Where he teamed with Brady Boone and Steve Blackman in a loss to the Islanders.
Oh shit!
Oh, I bet that was painful.
Imagine taking a splash 3-man Islander 6-man tag team. Yikes! I'd quit too, I guess, at that point.
They are all snug in there. That's for sure.
This bout is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first from Huntington, Australia, weighing 287 pounds, Outback Jack.
Oh my gosh. What do you got, Jess?
Well, my pick for the second round is a wrestler, a enhancement talent named Terry Gibbs. Now, a lot of people may not know who Terry Gibbs is. I have a special connection with Terry Gibbs because it was one of the first wrestling programs I ever watched, and it was a Saturday morning Superstars. And I was watching a match between Terry Gibbs and Sam Houston. Okay, whatever, right? Some people might remember Sam Houston as well. So as I was watching it, it went right after that match. Terry Gibbs fought and unfortunately lost to Sam Houston. And right after that, Vince is like, all right, Sam Houston gets the win. Now we're going to go back to last Saturday night. Hulk Hogan defending the title against King Kong Bundy on Saturday Night Event. It was when Andre choked him out. And that was like my first angle. And that was the time that I was like, who's this guy in yellow tights and, with blonde hair? And technically, because I watched this program and I turned it on at this time when they went back after a Terry Gibbs match, I fell, whatever you want to say, for Hulk Hogan. And I started watching wrestling every single week. I had to watch it. He was my hero, and Terry Gibbs is kind of indirectly responsible just because his match was on against Sam Houston, and I turned it on right towards the end where Sam gets the win, and then they go into that package where they recap what happened between Hogan and Bundy and Andre in Bundy's corner.
Terry Gibbs looks like Sid Vicious's baby brother or something.
Yeah.
I keep thinking of
what's
Barry
the actor's
Gibbs.
name that was in Days of Thunder? The one that was also in Walking Dead.
He was. Yeah, I know exactly.
John. Oh man, John. Someone's yelling at us.
He looks like him a little bit.
Mm-hmm. He's in. Yeah, I'll get it for you. Hold on. Well, you guys keep going.
But that's why I chose Terry. And Terry Gibb was all over syndicated television in the late '80s for sure. He was a frequent enhancement talent that you would see on WWF television. But his real name is Manuel Sane.
Against Terry Gibbs.
The opening bout is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first from Tampa, Florida, weighing in at 231 pounds, Terry Gibbs.
Oh. His real name is Terrence Gibbs. No.
Which is crazy that his real name is Manuel Sane, but he's like, I'm gonna go with Terry Gibbs for my.
How do you spell Sane? S-A-N-E?
S-A-I-N-E.
The actor you're thinking of from Days of Thunder is Michael Rooker.
Yeah, and he's been.
I had the wrong stupid movie.
Who's also in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that is my pick for the second.
My favorite line: "Is he cool?" Yeah, he's really cool. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Best line ever. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
He was an awesome villain at Days of. He wasn't really a villain in Days of Thunder,
he's just kind of a dick. He's
that rental car race to dinner. So you want to sit down? We're gonna hash this all out. You're gonna drive separately.
Like, the way I see it, you ain't gonna let me drive this car. I'm not gonna let you drive this car. So here's what we're gonna do. Yeah, they get 2 cars. We had some car trouble. I believe it was the radiator.
Is that right, Cole?
Wasn't it Cole? Yes, Roddy, I believe it was.
I love that you memorized that movie, Dave. That's awesome.
It's such a bad movie, but it was so good back then.
Special tires, Cole. Special tires.
It's match and staggered special. Yeah. We're way off track.
All right. Are we on round 3 or was that the end of round 2?
Round 3. This is where Craig's gonna have a lot of fun. He was already making me laugh so much on this pick, and he's right behind me. We're talking about Lanny Poffo. We had some arguments whether Lanny Poffo was enhancement talent, better known as the Genius or Leaping Lanny Poffo, a Canadian-American professional wrestler, motivational speaker, and poet and actor. I think he wrote his own Wikipedia. Look at that picture. Oh my god! But everybody knows he is the younger brother of Macho Man Randy Savage. Probably what he'll always be known for. But he really did carve out quite a niche for himself. He started wrestling in the All South Wrestling Alliance in '74. Went to the National Wrestling Alliances for 4 years, and then did Atlantic Grand Prix, National Wrestling Alliance back again, and then International Championship Wrestling, and then Mid South Continental Wrestling from '84 to '85, and then finally made his way into WWF. Probably because Macho's like, you're bringing my brother with me, right?
That's true. And he did that in WCW. The famous story from WCW was during the later years, I think 98, 99.
Package deal.
Yeah. Macho actually gave up a little bit of his salary to bring Lanny in there at an inflated salary.
What a good brother. What a good brother.
Yeah, and Bischoff agreed to it, and they never once had Lanny on television or used him at all.
Really?
So he was under contract for a couple of years. I don't remember the exact length, and got paid for nothing, like just to sit at home.
Yeah.
Oh, what a good brother.
And that was because Macho Man wanted to get him help at work and stuff like that. He loved his brother. He legitimately did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Lenny to this day, does he handle his estate or whatever? Is he kind of responsible for?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what he is responsible for.
I'm waiting for
I would like to think that they decided to be wrestlers on the same day, and Macho Man's like, I'm gonna go with a Macho Man, like the ultra male, and then Lenny Poffo was like, I'm gonna be a poet and leap over people. Lenny Poffo.
No, at first he was like, I will throw frisbees out to the crowd.
Let the best man win.
When Vince is like, yeah, look, I'll employ your brother Randy, but you got to get him some charisma. Like, no problem, Lenny, you got to do something. I'll throw frisbees. Like, it's just kind of all right. Fuck.
That sounds like
best
that sounds like a Pritchard idea to me. I'm just saying.
Illinois, weighing 252 pounds, leaping Lenny Poffo. Ladies and gentlemen, as per custom, Leaping Lenny has a poem for all of us.
I'm wrestling Mr. Wonderful, and he is looking great. He's handsome, tan, and muscular, but still can't get a date. With Bobby Heenan at his side, he really thinks he's hot. But getting past the Hulkster takes a lot more than he's got.
To me, I'm just saying.
I think that's the Lenny I remember. The Genius actually was a fun character. Let's be honest.
He did great as the Genius. He did a great job, and he actually got to walk lines with Hogan quite a bit.
He defeated Hulk Hogan by count out on Saturday.
Wait, who did?
The Genius did. He did.
Yikes!
Yeah, that's some of the big things. But then you start to cool off though when you start suffering house show defeats Jim Neidhart, who only knows how to do power slams.
Yeah. Well, and I think of it, his enhancement run mainly was when he was before the Genius, when he was leaping Lenny Poffo, like in the mid to late 80s. That's when he lost every match. There's not
I think it's fantastic that he was on Primetime Wrestling with Mr. Perfect against the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan. I'm like, oh, like you're in the main event. You are in it. That's awesome. And he lost.
He had all the fundamentals. He was good.
Yeah,
I'd love to envision him like every week or every month he would call the office and be like, how's the merch sales for the Frisbees going? We didn't sell one.
They're not going.
How's my revenue?
Don't forget about the feud with Brutus Beefcake and had to wear wigs and amateur wrestling headgear to cover the haircut that the barber had given him as well.
Yeah.
Just lots of fun stuff like that he had done. So to your point, he's in the main event, but he just never won. He was in good storylines. He just didn't win them. He never won. Except for that count out against Hogan, apparently. So that'll get you. That'll get the streak going.
All right, I'll go with my final pick then, Craig. I will undercut you, and I'm going to go. This guy was just known for WCW. And his name was the Gambler. I don't know if anybody remembers the Gambler, but for a period there, I put him up on the screen here. It's a little blurry. I apologize. He would always come out wearing fanning cards out like a deck of a card. And he was a product of the WCW power plant, so they were just putting out prelims from there and Goldberg apparently. And he was the Gambler from 1992 to 1995, so only a 3-year span. But he developed that character actually in the USWA before he went to WCW, and he was wrestling on Independence while he was also a prelim or a enhancement talent on WCW television as well. So that's kind of cool. Like I just remember him because I would always watch WCW Saturday Night or the Sunday morning show that they had, the World Championship Wrestling show, and he was always on there. He was always like the prelim that was getting beat on there too. So I don't know. He just sticks out of my mind, and he's kind of a one that nobody will ever pick out of a lineup. Like because people, who's the guy? Who is that? Like, but yeah, he was for like 3 years. I saw him almost every week on WCW syndicated television for sure.
That's dope.
Where's my cards? Oh, I gotta find my cards. I wrestled tonight. Where's my cards? Where's my cards?
You probably had to buy a new deck every time you got a new place to land.
So we're playing poker right now.
I need those. Those are mine.
You can wait, Gambler. Yeah. You can wait.
Imagine Goldberg back there going, "No, we're playing poker right now."
Oh, guys,
get the Skippo cards. They're over there. Use the Skippo cards.
And then what I do is I'll fling at them like a foreign object. These cards. My third guy is a mainstay in both WCW and WWF. King of the Mullets, had several names. I think he had a 28-year career. He's wrote a couple books. He's now a history teacher in San Antonio. I'm talking about Dale Wolf.
Hey,
or Dusty Wolf too, right? Wasn't that
yes, and you know what I read in the research of this? He was Dusty Wolf to begin with, and when Dusty Rhodes left WCW
is that a hairband?
They changed his name to Dale.
What is that?
So it's his hair.
That's his hair.
Yeah,
there's a lot of work being done there.
So imagine like you're a jobber and you have to change your name when Dusty Rhodes comes over to the WWF.
That you do.
Because of Dusty. I get it. Wow, I didn't know that. Wow.
I think for the longest time I was like, I didn't know. Is that Dusty's? That's the Dale's brother. That's Dusty's brother Dale.
Like imagine that.
That's
Hey, Dusty, come here for a second. He's like, oh, fuck, Vince wants to talk to me. Vince, this is it. This is it. You did it, Dusty. You did it.
You're moving on.
We're bringing in Dusty Rhodes. Maybe you've heard of him. So ditch the name, kid. What?
Huh?
Well,
that's my name,
Dale. Obviously, but that sucks. Like, come on. Like, that's so crazy. I didn't even know that.
And he actually has T-shirts on ProWrestlingTees.com, and one of them is, I don't care what the name is, just make it right on the check or something to that effect. So maybe that goes with the story.
Cool.
That's a great shirt. I will buy that shirt now. I'm gonna go find it.
So wait, then he also has.
I think he graduated with a history degree, and he teaches college history.
Holy shit!
Good for him, man.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I love those stories of people that landed and got a second career after wrestling and are seemingly okay.
The Steve Lombardis and Iron Mike Sharps of the world are few and far between. You don't necessarily, it's not common per se to make a career, like a lengthy career out of being a jobber, but enhancement talent, sorry.
Sure.
But yeah, that's true, because a lot of them had to like leave after a while, their 5-year career, whatever it was. Not everyone's going to be Iron Mike or the goddamn Italian Stallion.
Yeah. And he has another T-shirt too on the store that just says, "Who the fuck is Dusty Wolf?"
That's awesome.
Yeah, so good for him.
I'd say good for him. He's making the best out of his situation, and he's teaching at a college. It's not exactly chump change.
The following contest,
Brain, timing is so important. The time to be peaked in any kind of a contest. Can you believe that the Hulkster has reached that peak at just the right time?
I'll put it to you this way. I didn't think he'd be as ready as he is. Hulk Hogan looks ready to me.
He certainly does.
But I can't pick a winner now. Before I was going with Slaughter, but now I don't know. There's a winner right there, though. That's easy to pick.
A man with a date with destiny this Sunday as he will face at WrestleMania 7.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Who was the best enhancement talent pick? Like that makes the fit. Who's the best fit? I want to say Dusty's in that realm, or the Gambler, like that actually did that work.
I would say
Lenny
the ones we just picked right now.
Yeah,
I would say Dusty Wolf is probably like
the best one.
Yeah, he's like low key the best one.
Yeah,
the Conquistadors is another good one. They were kind of the rare. I guess the Conquistadors were like Lanny Poffo or Outback, Lanny's Outback, okay, where like they were designed, like they would win a little bit more, but really like no, Conquistadors were enhancement talent. I would say they're the best pick so far of this round. They're the most well known because Edge and Christian brought them back. They dressed as them for a feud that they were in like the Attitude Era, so a lot of people remember the Conquistadors.
There you go.
But
and then SD Jones, I always, if you ask me what a jobber is, like when I think of two, I think of Iron Man Sharp and SD Jones. And I think we always did growing up think SD Jones was the quintessential guy enhancement talent.
Yeah, Iron Mike Sharp was the heel, the heel one, and then SD Jones was the face.
Yeah. I had no idea over 300 matches in 2 separate years. That's just unbelievable.
And then when we were talking, he did his first WrestleMania. He got to be on the card, but he was literally there to break a record of the fastest pinfall.
All he had to do was stand in the corner,
Bundy.
literally. Like, and he probably made the biggest payday he'd ever made in his life.
Yeah, and it was like, and then they put him in the record books of the quickest pin.
He was quickest pin for a long time. But he could say I was at the first WrestleMania. That's kind of cool.
I was on a WrestleMania card. Not many people can say that.
Yeah, I was on the first one. That's like pretty.
That's
badass.
legit. Yeah, that's legit. Good stuff. For audio fans, give us a listen on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcast, or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel. On social media, give us a follow on Instagram or Twitter at O.W.P 2019, or catch us on Facebook at Our Wrestling Podcast. This is Dave, Jess, and Craig with the O.W.P signing off. Have a good one.